Welcome back to First Edition. Joining me now is the MP for Wentworth. Dave Sharma is one of the newbies for the class of 2019. Welcome to the building, and I should let you know that before this studio we had a very small one, so this is all nice to coincide with the new Parliament. I think we have had it before, but look...
I remember the old one. It was
okay,
very small.
Thank you. Dave Sharma, what kind of MP are you going to be? Are you going to be the kind of MP that toes the party line or sticks up for your constituents?
Well, I'll be an MP to represent the people of Wentworth, but I'll be a Liberal MP. I mean, I ran as a Liberal Party member, and we're to reuse John Howard's well-known phrase, we're a broad church. We've got people who represent a broad swathe of Australia, as we should as a major political party. So I'll be taking the views of Wentworth into the party room and the Parliament.
You ran as a modern Liberal. There's only a select few of you within the party that did run under that tagline. What does that mean, and what does that mean you'll bring to this Parliament?
Look, I didn't consider it a big deal at the time, and I still don't. It was really just a description of who I am as a person, which means I'm, forward-looking, concerned with the problems and challenges of today, and not overly concerned with the ideological debates and divisions of the past. I want to focus on the problems of the Australian people and the challenges we face as a nation, and modern was a shorthand way to sort of describe that outlook, I think.
You lost a by-election, you got back in a general election. It was pretty tight in the end, but what do you think got there? What was the argument? Was it a personal one from you, or was it the party, or was it Scott Morrison personally?
Look, I think it was a combination of things, but at the by-election there was a pretty unique confluence of circumstances. There was a lot of anger within the electorate at what had happened to Malcolm Turnbull. There'd been a very dramatic change of Prime Minister in Australia, and the people were still getting used to that. So I think, the Independent then was able to capitalise on that. General election, much more normal context, and people really were focused on the choice.
It's a marginal seat, though, Dave Sharma. It was a very safe one under Malcolm Turnbull. So does that...
Yeah, look, I think if you remember that when he first came in 2004 and indeed in 2007, it was a pretty close margin, and he built it up over time. And look, I've certainly got a job to do, and that really is going to be...
Certainly do.
It's going to be my focus over the next 3 years, is showing the people of Wentworth that they were right to put their trust in me, and earning more of that trust and hopefully increasing my margin.
And the tax cuts, I mean, Labor is not coming to the party on this at this point. It looks like you might get it over the line with the help of the crossbench. But do you think people really understand what stage 3 is?
Well, I think people understand that we took a package of tax cuts to the people at the election, and we won the election, and hence we've now got a mandate to implement these. And I mean, no, some of the arcana of the debates that, might be lost on people, but this is really about restoring the proceeds of bracket creep and making sure our tax system remains progressive, but it also encourages and rewards work and incentive. And this is really what this tax cut's all about.
But what is it about stage 3 that you're so committed to? I'm talking about the detail and the elements of it, because doesn't kick in into 2024.
Well, I think, under stage 3 is, look, 94% of Australian taxpayers will be paying no more than 30 cents in the dollar. It'll mean that people have an incentive to work harder, get promoted, and it'll restore the proceeds of bracket creep. We're still going to have a tax system as progressive as before. But I think it's important when you're putting forward a package. You want to lay out the detail several years out. You want to show people what the landscape's going to look like so they can plan for their future.
A few quick things in terms of your constituents and how this might work in this new Parliament. Do you think the argument about moving the embassy in Tel Aviv, or from Tel Aviv, will crop up again, and where would you stand on that?
I think the government did a review of this last year, which they announced during the by-election campaign. They've concluded that review, and what we've done is we've opened an office in Jerusalem. We've recognised Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, but we've said that we're keeping the embassy in Tel Aviv for now. And I think absent some quite dramatic progress on the peace process front, and there is a Trump administration political plan out there that will be unveiled sometime in the next few months. Something quite big would need to happen, I think, in the move towards a peace process for us to reconsider that position.
Is that the right course of action, do you think, given, I think, the backlash you saw in the by-election and the backlash you really saw from Indonesia?
I think where we've ended up is a good position. We're always right, and we always should, as a sovereign country, to review our positions on things, and to not say that because we've always done something for 70 years it's necessarily the right thing to do. And I'd reassert that right any day of the week. But I think where we've landed on this is the right spot.
Have you got anything else on your to-do list for this Parliament as a backbencher that you might be pushing for?
Well, navigating the building is pretty hard, as you probably know, so making sure I learn all the key features.
I think the constituents expect you to probably nail the colours of the carpet and the navigation of the building. But I'm talking, childcare, climate change. These are as a constituent, I picked up during the by-election, the general election, that these were issues that were coming up a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, I mean, for me, I'm going to have an obvious interest on Australian security and safety of Australians, given my background. Prosperity, though, keeping the economy strong, particularly in some pretty tough global economic headwinds.
Have you been appointed to any parliamentary committees?
I think I've got a few, but they'll be announced later today, so they're not firmly in the bag yet. But retaining incentives for people to work. I mentioned the tax cuts before, but I think getting more women into the workforce is also an important agenda item.
OK, well, we'll be speaking to you a fair bit on First Edition, so thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for your time, Laura.
Good luck navigating the joint.